Kevin Stefanski says, much like Game 1, don't expect to see any starters in Game 2. They take on the Minnesota Vikings at the stadium tomorrow afternoon. We know that Huntley is going to play at quarterback. We know DTR will get the start. What's the number one thing you're looking for in this game against Minnesota tomorrow night?
Well, for me, I need to see these DBs play better. I mean, the first game, I just felt like they gave too much cushion. It was like they didn't want to get beat, and I understand that. I've been in that situation where I played DB, and the number one way to get cut is to give up something deep. But at some point, you know that the offense is going to be vanilla. You got to see the Vikings in practice the entire week. You did 2 practices against those guys. They're not even going to run those things. It's going to be very vanilla. Be aggressive. Get your hands on the ball. Get up there, press these guys, and show not just the Cleveland Browns, but all other 31 teams why you deserve to be in the NFL.
Listen, I'm looking for some plays, man. Listen, all that, the offense was pedestrian last week. It was dink and dunk. I'm looking for young guys to make some plays, man. You ain't out there just to be out there. While the old dudes is out there drinking Kool-Aid, yucking it up with their $1 million chains on, you supposed to be out there playing, trying to put some stuff on tape. You ain't got no time to be up there hanging out because you're not on the squad like that. I need the Jamari Thrashes, the Cedric Tillmans. Like you said, them DBs back there. And by the way, no one-score touchdowns. The Browns gave up way too many one-score touchdowns in these huge plays. I want to see somebody make a play on the football. I want to see guys rally and tackle, get some sacks, get the ball on the field. That's what it's a standard. Just because you're a backup don't mean that you come out there and be in your gap. That ain't what it's about, Boo.
I agree. One of the things you mentioned was wide receiver. I mean, every wide receiver the Browns have drafted has been a nothing. It's been a disappointment. And once again, they've drafted another receiver this year in Thrash, along with Cedric Tillman, I guess David Bell, and some of these other young players. Let's see what you got. Make some plays out there. Obviously, it's the preseason. It's backups. There's only so much you can gain from that. But that's an opportunity to show something. Give us some hope that some of these young wide receivers can actually be a factor in the regular season.
The thing I'm most looking forward to is the fourth quarter clock hitting 0.
Yeah, well,
because this is a nothing burger. There is nothing to see here.
Easy.
Ty, the NFL has told us that.
Listen, it's still guys that's still trying to get on. It's not every spot is not locked up.
No, I understand that, but with this new era of we might play some people of note in the preseason, the league and the individual teams are telling us collectively there is just nothing to see. There's nothing. So if the wide receivers go out and make a couple of big plays, they're not going to be catching the ball from those quarterbacks in the regular season. So we don't really know. I need to know what does the combination of Deshaun Watson and the receivers look like? We're not going to learn that. We might see it a little bit in the third game of the preseason, and I look forward to that. So because of that, I just can't wait for this game to be over. I worry about injuries in meaningless games that mean nothing, and I'm not going to really take anything away from anything I see because the starters aren't playing.
Let me tell you why that's not the case. You will learn something.
Inform me. Educate
I'm going to tell you
me.
why. Because last year, you watched the Browns last year, you seen that the injury bug was big. And when guys
I already know that.
Listen, when guys went down, you want to at least have seen that guy that's going in there that's after that. You want to be like, oh, okay, I seen him in the preseason.
Okay,
he was
so if
pretty
they look
good.
great against the threes,
but you at least know. But you see the ability, like you know what to expect. To where
we all get excited about DeJuan Jones before the season because he showed something in the preseason. I mostly agree that the preseason, from a fan perspective, is meaningless. Obviously, there's value to the team in it. But for the most part, it is meaningless. But there are little things like seeing a young player do something, even if it's against backups, that at least gives you some hope, whether it's real or not. You know, you never know.
I think the Browns, we ain't the Kansas City Chiefs. You can get something out of everything. You ain't no Super Bowl champions. Everybody can get something. And I want the coaches to be dialed in. Hey, I need y'all to plays in. We want to work on something and get something crisp, man. Put something on tape. At least I would rather you have you making plays than not doing nothing.
That's true. Well, listen, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I hope every guy that steps foot on the field looks good, not bad.
Right.
But even if they look good, I'm not going to proclaim them the next whomever.
That's no pom-poms.
Because no pom-poms. No. I just go out there, don't get injured, and let's get to the season opener against Dallas.
Really quickly, does Mike Hall Jr. play?
That's a good question. I don't think so.
Well,
Although
he
was back in
suffered
practice,
suffered a stinger, I think they
He
got.
did, yeah.
So yeah, he's probably not going to play. But I'll tell you what, I'm gonna look at the linebackers. Devin Bush, listen, he's a Wolverine. He's a Wolverine. That guy can play though. I like him.
I like his name.
And I don't really like Wolverines a lot, but he good.
I like all the Bushes.
All right, let's get pause. All right, let's get to you were excited about this in the Open. Which non-star and we know who the stars are. Which non-star for this Browns team is going to have a big impact on the Cleveland Browns in 2024?
I'm going to go with Deontay Foreman.
Ooh.
And the reason I'm going to go with him is because there's going to be some opportunities for the Cleveland Browns with this new offense where you might not be hitting on all cylinders. So when it comes to third downs and tough yards, you're going to be counting on him to move the chains. And that's the most difficult thing to do when you got an offense. You don't want to be stop and start. You want to be able to consistently put together long drives and be able to do that consistently. To do that, you got to pick up the third downs. To do that, you got to pick up those short yardage plays. And I want to see if he's able to block and play. I know he's a bruiser back. He's one of the backs that probably will take over for the Kareem Hunt role. But the thought process is this. Short yardage, goal line, we need touchdowns, not threes. And he's going to be one of the guys that are going to get the ball to. I think he's going to play a big role.
I like that answer. I hope you're right.
I'm going with Jordan Hicks, linebacker that we picked up. Listen, everybody's enamored with the JOKs and the miles, but you need a quarterback on that defense. You need a guy that's been there, that's had that Super Bowl experience. I think he was with Jim Schwartz with the Eagles when they won it all. This guy's been a captain. He's going to be the voice. It's up to him to get everybody lined up. He's going to see things exactly how Jim Schwartz sees things, and it's such a big thing, a big benefit of having that guy on the field. You know, I think the biggest thing that I think the Browns can learn to be better on defense is communication. I told you about this. I just feel like they don't talk a lot. I feel like
Is that because it was year one of a new system or no?
Yeah, but you still, at some point, it's got to be a lot of community. You know, if you ask any great coach, you know how you can tell the sign of a good defense? You hear it.
Mm-hmm.
It's constant talking. We all need to see the same thing and be on the same page. And I feel like that's the one thing when I look at the Browns that I feel like they don't do. There's no hand signals out there. Secondary-wise, I feel like y'all don't even know each other because y'all don't talk about anything. And I feel like that's the next step. So I think having a guy like him out there who's been a captain, that's been on a championship defense before, he's going to make everybody else talk and be on the same page, and I think that's what's going to help this defense be better than they were last year.
I like that pick a lot.
Thank
He was my second choice, but my top choice, anytime we've had a question similar to this all offseason, I've said the same guy, and I'll say him again. Alex Wright is going to have a breakout season for the Browns on the defensive line. I think he's going to get double-digit sacks. I got him with 10 sacks.
No kidding.
I love what I saw from him at the end of
who-
last year, and I think we've been waiting for the Browns have consistently brought in veterans on the outside to try to pair up with Myles Garrett, and I think this guy with 5 sacks in the final few games last year when he got healthy is going to make a big impact this year, and I think he's going to be second on the team in sacks and make a name for himself.
I like your answer a lot because there's a light that goes off for players in their career where they just sort of figure it out and that learning curve is behind them. And I agree. At the end of last season, he was an impact player making big plays in big spots.
Yep.
I love that. I think he's definitely trending in that direction. But you're all wrong, and here's why. DeJuan Jones. This guy, if the year 1 to 2 jump is very, very important. In year 1, we saw that this guy has real value and potential. If he can continue to grow, and what worries me is the professor's no longer in the room. Bill Callahan is down in Nashville, and we're going to miss him. So how does he continue to progress as a young offensive lineman in this league? I hope I'm not getting ahead of myself, but we all said this when we saw him physically. Great footwork, huge guy. He could be a 10 to 12-year starter and star in this league. So he's my guy that's under the radar. That's going to have a big, big year.
Go Bucks.
Just hope he can stay
Hopefully
healthy.
they'll all do it, all 4.
Yeah.
If they do, we're 12-5,
Yeah.
and we're talking about the playoffs.